Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here doing another Marvel Legends action figure review on a 2-pack. We're looking at the Thor vs. Destroyer Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest 2-pack over here. Now, this Eric Masterson Thor, I wasn't really familiar with till later on in life. And I know that he was the Thor during a whole chunk of the 90s, but I didn't realize that until a bit later. And then Destroyer, I didn't know about the Destroyer armor until the movies came out. So I'm not really the most versed in all Avengers knowledge, but hey, I've been trying to catch up over the years, and I'm excited about this 2-pack, but we gotta hit that theme song.
ShartimusPrime, ShartimusPrime, reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking bad shits, subscribe.
So the packaging is pretty standard, what we've seen from the Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest. You can see images of the figures right there, and then you can see them on the side right over here, and then there you are again on the back right over there. Not a whole lot of accessories, some interchangeable parts. Then on the side you get some nice looking artwork, and then on the top you can see it says Avengers 60 Years of Earth's Mightiest. Not much more at the bottom, so let's get to it and crack these things open. And if you're trying to get your Marvel Legends, you can do so.
Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
And here are the figures out of the packaging, and they're pretty cool. There's some more changes here with the Thor figure than I originally anticipated, so that makes me happy. But it's still mostly a reused figure. But the Destroyer, I mean, really, who's buying this 2-pack for the Thor figure? I understand if you love Eric Masterson Thor, but for real, the Destroyer figure is really outstanding. We don't have a lot of accessories to look at, so let's quickly look at those, and then we'll get a closer look at the figures. So the Destroyer armor comes with 2 sets of hands, and you also get 2 left hands for Thor, 2 heads for Thor, and Mjolnir right here. And these hands do look pretty good for the Destroyer armor. I really do like the color of silver that they have here. You can see some marbling throughout on the hands and on the figure, and you can see for the left hand you get this wide open pose, and then for the right hand you get a Mjolnir holding hand, which I assume it's for. And these spikes are not too sharp, which is pretty nice. And I did find an image of Destroyer holding Mjolnir for a brief moment, and yeah, that was with the original Donald Blake Thor. Instead you get the left hand right there, left hand over there. Oh yeah, fisted hands right over here. All of them have the vertical hinge. And then Mjolnir, we've seen this Mjolnir before. It would have been nice if it came with the spinning Mjolnir. I do love the spinning Mjolnir, but whenever I read this, I hear Anthony Hopkins, whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. And I really like it. It's nice. It rotates. Very cool. You get 2 new head sculpts right over here. A lot of beard right there. Looking pretty cool. I do like the gunmetal gray for the helmet. Very nice and clean. I don't see any marbling on the front of it. The eyes look really good over here. We'll say the heads do look a little on the big side, but not big enough to ruin the figure at all for me. Just a little thing I noticed, just a touch a little on the big side. But this one looks really good. This is probably my favorite one of the 2. So yeah, I like having both of these head sculpts right over here. So let me know what you think of the head size compared to the rest of the body in the comment section below. When I have is this the 80 years Thor? Pretty sure it's the 80 years Thor. You can see even just like the helmet sizes are drastically different over here. And the upper torsos are the same except for the paint applications. You can see you have the flesh tone right over there for the ribs side and everything, and a little bit of minor blemishing right over here on one of these discs, but for the most part it's okay. I'm really happy with how this one came out. A little bit of a nick right there, but it's mostly looking pretty good. And then this piece is the same right here. It's still the same part, but it's the crotch area that is different. So they gave us a new crotch piece over here, altered it at least anyway. And then the legs are the same up until you get past the knees. Do have a little bit of a loose joint right here, and I will do a brief articulation segment with this figure, but we have brand new calves right over here and brand new knee pads, and I think these are brand new feet, or they could be reused feet actually now that I think about it. Yep, they could have just reused those, which is fine. Cape is the same as what we'd seen before, so that's cool. Just doesn't have as much paint as this one does. I do like the darker, black over red, but this still looks pretty good. I feel like there's a little bit of paint on it, but not really. It's just shadows every time I look at it. Of course, you can see that we have the pinned elbows right here. Would have been nice if they were able to update those. Oh, this figure looks so sick. This is already one of my favorite Marvel Legends of the year. I really dig it a lot. I love the very, very super subtle touch of blue on just the inside of the eyes right there. It is like microscopic right there with the paint apps. And in the seams right over here, we have some very dark brown wash right there looking really cool. And there's very subtle brown throughout on this figure. Now you're going to see some swirling. There is a little bit of swirling in the plastic. Not so bad right over there, but you can see that looks nasty right over there. Almost like it's supposed to be battle damaged, but it's not, because when I run my finger across it, it's very smooth. Like, same thing over here. Luckily, it's on the back of the figure, but man, that looks bad. I'm not a fan of that at all. I guess, you know, for this particular one, it's not the worst, you know, but when it looks super smooth over here and then not as smooth over there, well, then they start losing me on that whole concept, you know? It's just not consistent. These lines right here seem like they're kind of on purpose, but kind of not all at the same time. So we're going to see swirling throughout on the figure. I'm not going to talk about every single swirl. I do want to talk about the brown, though. I love the subtle brown over this figure. It just gives it extra life. I feel like it just adds another layer to it. All the spikes look really badass. I like how they're spiky, but not too spiky. You know what I mean? It's not like a Marvel Select Anti-Venom figure or anything like that. And you can see some more of that brown wash over it. It really adds to the figure, I think, you know, so I really appreciate them doing that and not just only silver, you know. I don't like the marbling, though. It's got a marbly butt right there. And then the legs actually look really cool. You can see some more of that brown over it. I don't know if the brown is mixed in there. Sometimes it feels like it is, right? As I turn it, you can see it kind of sticks out a little bit more depending on the lighting. But it's mostly a very good-looking figure, man. I like the pinless joints right over here, too. That helps, especially with this kind of figure with, you know, the spikes everywhere and everything. Man, this thing looks badass. I do get distracted by the swirls a little bit. I said I wasn't going to talk about it so much. Sorry. But hey, if it's there, it's there. If it bothers me, it bothers me. What do you want me to do, huh? You want me to lie and pretend? Don't get frustrated for the sake of your wellness? Hell no! Nobody cares about your wellness. Not even me. No, I'm just kidding. I do care about your wellness, but for real, I gotta stay honest in these videos, okay? Now, the Thor figure we're pretty familiar with. I wish they did have another head where their hair was flying back a little bit more, because you get that nice neck hinge in there. Still tricky to utilize. Anyway, I did notice the diaphragm joint is a little bit more stiff than it was on the last figure, or, you know, the regular Thor figure that we'd seen before, which is nice. However, just this right knee is a bit loose on mine. Not so much the left knee, but just the right knee is a little loose. Now, getting into this guy, my biggest gripe is I wish we had a neck hinge over here. Unless you have a bent double dumbbell joint, I feel like, yeah, just having the one dumbbell joint like that is, I don't know, just the ball joint right there. Anyway, it can look down a bit, shifts forward and back some, you get side-to-side motion and head pivoting right there. No butterfly joints. You do have these shoulder pads, which are nice and soft, and they're attached to the shoulder, so you can get the arms moving outward that far, inward, rotate, a full 360, bicep swivel, swivel at the elbow, bends at 90 degrees at the elbow, wrist swivel and all hinge up and down, nice diaphragm joint, diaphragm pivoting, even though we have these spikes right here that do churn into the figure itself right there, which is very nice. I like that they engineered it that way. Rotation, of course, really good crunching forward. I like that. Crunches back very well. And then you have hips that move outward very far, and it will kick forward and back a tiny bit, upper thigh cut. Then you have the double jointed knees, and then the ankles do move down. They do move up a bit, and they have beautiful ankle pivot. I wish we had gotten one calf cut right here. I appreciate the calf cut joint. Would have been nice if they could have just snuck it in there. Should have been really easy to do too, so that kind of bums me out a little. Now, to measure out these two figures, you can see that Thor is still pretty tall, standing at around 7 inches, and then the Destroyer right here is standing way up there. You're looking at about 9 to 9.5 inches tall. Not too many size comparisons today, but I did want to show off. Oof, this Thor figure just wants to fall over. But hey, you can see him also tilting off to the side due to that very loose diaphragm joint, which I'm happy is stiffened up on that one right over there. But yeah, you can see Donald Blake Thor, Eric Masterson Thor. They stand at about the same height. If not for the Eric Masterson head being just a little bit bigger, they would be closer to the same height, I think. So I'm going to leave out the Toy Biz Destroyer armor for the size comparison because that one does not even come close to these two. and it looks like they're standing at the same height. I know I just tilted his head up a tad, but just so that he was looking forward and not downward. And holy crap, I mean, you do get more accessories with this figure, right? You get the Odin interchangeable head, if I remember correctly. But the paint apps look a lot cleaner on this figure than this one. I mean, you even have sculpted detail in the hinges right here. But this one has a lot more hinges, aka more articulation. So as far as articulation goes, this one wins it. As far as paint applications go and straight up aesthetics, I think this one wins it. However, as far as price point goes, this one takes it. So I may be leaning a little bit more towards the Destroyer from Marvel Select, but I really like this one a lot too. And I gotta say, I have had more fun posing this figure around compared to the Select. Then here's Thor and Destroyer. Next to your average 6-inch scale figure, we have the Marvel Legends Big Time Inner Letdown Spider-Man. Whoa, man, you're a big guy, all covered in metal, and your name's Destroyer. Well, I know your favorite song. Seek and destroy! So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to show some love by simply clicking that like button. And if you are new here, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Got a bunch more cool videos coming your way, so stay tuned for that. Got some cool McFarlane stuff we got to look at, and a whole bunch more Marvel Legends and some Transformers goodies as well. So stay tuned. And I gotta say, this 2-pack set I like having. I'm not that bummed out about getting the Thor figure to get the Destroyer figure this time. It's a different version of Thor. It's the Eric Masterson Thor. I get it. So to me, it's cool having this particular version. I'm going to put this Thor on a different shelf. There's a place for him to go. So I am not bummed out about that. I could see how some people would be upset about it. But for me personally, not bummed out about getting the Thor figure at all. I like this Thor figure, and it's a fairly big Thor figure as well. So that doesn't bum me out. The Destroyer figure is freaking sick as hell though, man. I really like the Destroyer figure a lot. Like, I'm really having a hard time figuring out whether I like this one more or the Marvel Select more. Both of these companies are making my head spin right now. I really do like both of them. It's really hard to tell. At this moment in time, I'm calling it a draw. I'm gonna need some more time with the figures. I gotta say, the biggest setback for the Marvel Legends Destroyer is the marbling and the plastic, and I mentioned it again. I'm so sorry. Oh, you're gonna unsubscribe now, aren't you? No, not for real though, man. It looks bad when I see it there and it's all messy looking, especially when there's some parts that are really clean and it looks sloppy. So they do lose points for that, and Diamond does get points for the clean silver and all those seam lines painted nicely. So it would have been nice to have those touches with this figure, but other than that, I really had a great time posing it around. I love the articulation. I love the body proportions look really good on this guy too. So I gotta say, you know, whether or not I had the Marvel Select Destroyer figure, I'm still really happy with this 2-pack set, and at the price point of around $60, I'm going to give them a Sud rating of I love it! And I'd like to know what you guys think, so please let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see the latest in Marvel news, find it all over at marvelousnews.com. And if you want to stay in touch with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and on Whatnot. We got a giveaway this Thursday, so come through on Whatnot, and I will catch you guys later. Peace!
Crispy.
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.